Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Crystalline. The last time we got to Daryl's Mage Guild place, and we're currently going to check to see what Leanna and Zach are doing in the Hall of Illusions. Illusions of the Mind. Sounds like it'd be interesting. Some of them are really clever. I enter the exhibit and catch up with Leanna and Zach. Hey guys. Zach nods.
Hey! I didn't know you liked illusions of the mind.
Well, I mean, I like optical illusions. They can be fun. Leanna smiles and nods. The room is filled with different paintings and sculptures. People mill around each piece, squinting and concentrating and quietly discussing. We decide to start at one end of the room and work our way down. The first piece is one I'm very familiar with, a 2D painting of colored spirals. Leanna gasps.
It looks like it's moving.
Zach nods in agreement. We move on to the next one. It's drawing an elephant, but something seems off. Both Leanna and Zach squint at it. It's missing a leg.
Yeah.
Zach leans closer.
Wait, no it isn't.
Leanna counts.
Only 4 legs, but there looks like there should be more.
This is confusing. Is that the one with, like, it looks like it either has 6 or 3 legs? It's got, like, an absurd, weird, like, drawing of lines. We murmur in agreement as we move on. As we study the next image, my face turns bright red. Is that a naked one?
Dancing figures.
Leanna nods. Really? That's what you see? 2 of them give me strange glances.
Yes? What are you seeing?
Also dancing figures. Yes, that too is what I see. Shoot me one last confused glance before shrugging it off and moving on. It didn't sound like someone suspicious at all. Yes, I too saw what you saw. We pass a few more images, and both Zach and Leanna are in agreement of what they see in each one. They spot an old man in the old man or a woman image. They saw a swan in the rabbit or swan image. Every time they'd agree, they'd grin at each other, and sometimes they'd even share a glance as if they were on a secret no one else knew. It's a bit uncanny how in sync they are with each other right now. I've never seen them get along so well before. Zach smiles so much at once. As we pause at the next illusion, a man ponders the image thoughtfully. He wears a black robe with gold stripes, and a mess of blonde hair sits atop his head. His blue eyes squint intently at the image as he ponders the illusion.
All of these images hold so much meaning. They're the epitome of understanding that not everything is as it seems. If you change your perspective, you're told a completely different story.
I don't even know what he's supposed to be. Like, I knew Batman, I knew Walter White, but who the fuck is Delzik?
I see these images and I wonder what it is the artist is trying to share. Which story is theirs? The one that I see first, or the one I understand after further study? This piece has been especially interesting.
He turns to us.
Tell me, what do you see in this picture?
Show me the picture. Leanna and Zach share a knowing look and grin.
It's obvious.
Yep.
They answer simultaneously.
Faces.
Vases.
Oh, that one. The 2 of them freeze, their eyes wide.
You meant to say faces, right?
No, they're clearly vases.
No, they're faces.
Oh, they're so pissed.
Unless faces look like vases to you, you're very wrong.
Leanna shakes her head.
How could you have been so right about all the others and so wrong about this one?
Actually, in that last illusion, I didn't see a swan. I saw a rabbit!
You're so intense, you need to calm down. Leanna gasps.
I trusted you.
I thought that was the only time, but I see now that you've been wrong this whole time.
He looks so fucking defeated.
You're the one who's wrong.
No, there's no need to...
Just give
Not
up.
now.
They glare at him. Leanna suddenly rests her gaze on me.
What do you see?
Ooh, I see a whole bunch of nothing. Bros before hoes, faces, sisters before bitches. I see faces too. Leanna grins slightly. It's actually
You two are perfect for each other. You have equally bad taste.
I had to. You've got to understand. Leanna and I reacted at the same time. Perfect for each other?
Bad taste?
Completely different reactions, but we reacted. She looks at me. I mean, bad taste?
What did you say?
Nothing. I saw faces. There's smug grin and turns, and she spins back to Zach.
That's right. See? Their faces.
Why? Just, yep. I made the right choice. Zach's eyes.
You're free to believe what you want, even if it's wrong.
She ignores his last comment, content with her win. The philosopher chimes in before the two of them can continue
Have you
bickering.
considered the possibility that you're both right?
Lan and Zach stop arguing and look at him.
This illusion tells two independent stories, intertwined in a single piece of art. The precision, the illusion, wrapped in perfect symmetry. To understand another perspective instead of being rigid in one's own perception, that is the true intention.
Lan and Zach nod slowly, as fully understanding and taking in what he said. Calm and pensive, they face each other
I
again.
guess it's possible that they're vases.
I'm glad your eyes are finally working.
This asshole.
What? You jerk! You're supposed to say you see faces!
Why would I agree with something wrong?
Zach is something else, and it's fantastic. It really brings the story. It really does lighten my day when he's just a pompous ass. Their arguments resume and I sigh deeply. Not this again. My gaze wanders from the room and I glance wistfully at all the other illusions, wishing we could move on. Hey guys, let's move on. They don't hear me. Guys? Again, the two of them are too wrapped up in their argument to hear me. It seems like this is going to take a while. I guess I'll finish this exhibit on my own and check back with them later. Unnoticed, I slip away from the group and finish the tour. Do I really care about the heroes of Asaria? I'll see what Kara's doing. See what Kara's up to. Kara said she was going to take care of some business in the library. I wonder what she's up to. I head into the library and find her among the shelves. Hey, Kara. She smiles.
Hey there.
Checking out the selection?
You could say that. I'm wondering if I have something that might interest them.
Are you talking that, yeah, that's what I was talking. Exactly, the Faded Tome.
If this library is as extensive as Amy says, maybe they're looking to expand their collection.
Worth a shot. I browse the books along the shelves. It looks like they've got older books here, too. She pulls out a book and inspects its cover, then grins as she puts it back.
They've got Arius texts.
Who are they?
The ancient civilization here. They're the people who would have built the Wind Temple. If they've got Arius tomes, then they're sure to be interested in what I've got.
Kara confidently approaches the librarian.
Perhaps you could assist me.
The librarian glances down his nose at Kara and sniffs disdainfully.
Perhaps.
Ignoring his haughtiness, Kara pulls the book out and places it in front of him.
Would you be interested in a Gaian text?
He leans closer to inspect
Where
it.
did you acquire this?
From one of the ruins. Unlike most of texts found, this one is very atypical. It's actually a children's book.
Surprise slips through his demeanor.
A children's book?
Kara carefully flips through the pages to show off the illustration.
Yes, and you can tell it's Gaian based on the calligraphy.
She points to two different places on the page.
The Gaian's language didn't use punctuation, while the other ancient civilizations, such as the Uri, did. And the parchment itself is out of an animal hide, which is typical of Gaian culture.
Kara continues to spout more and more facts. The more she talks, the more impressed the librarian seems. By the end of her speech, his frown is replaced with an interested grin. He further inspects the book and then nods in satisfaction.
Fascinating. And you're hoping to donate it to our library?
Oh, this guy. Trying to be fucking
Well,
coy.
donate for a small fee.
Yeah, donate for some change.
Ah, of course.
Yeah, you clown. What do you think this is, a charity? He lists a number which Kara pleasantly counters. They go back and forth for a while before the librarian finally nods. The two of them disappear in a few minutes before Kara returns with a small pouch. She grins as she safely tucks away her pouch. How'd it go?
Not bad. I was hoping I could get a little more, but I still ended up with more than the initial offer. That's a win in my book.
That's a win in most people's books. I can't help but be a little impressed. It must have shown on my face as Kara looks at me questioningly.
What is it?
Nothing. You'll have to teach me your haggling skills one day. It would come in handy back in Bazada.
Speaking of haggling, Why don't we go check out the shops?
Why? Nothing happened. Why? Why did that? Okay. Sure, it'll be nice to see more of the city. Kara and I leave the building and wander the cobbled streets until we come upon the marketplace. We browse a few storefronts. Kara mostly ignores the clothing shops and seems more interested in stores selling trinkets and antiques. While Kara peers through the window of a shop, I overhear a father and son talking in front of a sweet shop. The boy claps happily as his father hands him candy. His dad grins
I'm
equally
proud
wide.
of you, son. Remember to keep up your studies. Maybe one day you can grow up to be a mage.
Thanks, Dad.
I recall my father's face and how he looked when I brought home my first A. He looked just as proud as happy as that man with his son. He took me out for ice cream as a reward and told me to keep my grades up. Man, not at all what I got. I got to be expected and then move on. What he's doing now, does he even know that I'm missing? A hand waves in front of my face.
Hello? Are you still there?
Kara looks concerned. Sorry, what's going on?
You okay there?
Yeah. I don't need... She doesn't need to fucking worry about me. That's no big deal. Sorry, I just zoned out, I guess. Anything good? Is he anything good? She shakes her head.
Nothing worth buying.
She glances down the road.
Let's keep going.
I nod. We walk around for a while longer to explore the city. We eventually return to the library and exhibition hall and part ways. Well, might as well, right? Because last time I did something I usually wouldn't do, we always get good outcomes when I do stuff like this. I decided to attend the exhibition to learn more about the history of Asaria. I followed the signs directing me into the Heroes of Asaria exhibit and see a broad hall with an enlarged portrait of 5 people. Below the portrait is the text, Heroes of Asaria. There are a few historical items on display, safely preserved behind cubes of glass. I see a rusty sword, which is found at the site of the first battle. On the wall is some information about the War of Asaria. I begin reading. The War of Asaria began with its establishment of Void. Originally, shadow magic practitioners lived in harmony throughout the 3 kingdoms. A small faction became discontent with the status quo and abused the uses of shadow magic. As this faction grew, they became known as Void. They quickly turned into dominant force and spread chaos throughout the kingdoms. The 3 kingdoms, Havengard, Vinea, and Krezimar, had been in a constant state of land wars with each other, pushing their borders and boundaries, and did not initially notice the rise of Void through the disarray. Void was free to ravage towns and cities within all the kingdoms, and the destruction was immense. It wasn't until the Heroes of Asaria emerged that tide of war changed. Although originally divided, the 3 kingdoms realized they had to work together to stop Void, and they collectively supported the efforts of the heroes. With their help, Void was ultimately defeated, and the kingdoms recognized that their wars helped carve the way for the organizations like Void to grow, and they called a ceasefire. Together they established their borders and found peace. All 3 kingdoms agreed that shadow magic was too dangerous of an element and banned its use. Thus the Treaty of Asaria was signed. I hear tidbits of the War of Asaria, but it helps me understand the severity of Void's reappearance. They must have really wreaked havoc. Wreaked havoc. Wreaked havoc, I guess is same thing, different word, among the 3 kingdoms. There is an excerpt on the Heroes of Asaria as well. Is that Broodman? Or is that Broodman? Because that was definitely the hunter chick with the bow from the last town. I don't know who that is, but one of these 2 I think is Broodman. Isabel Celine. Isabel is a skilled archer from the deserts of Vinaya. Living in the harsh climate of desert forced her to grow quickly. She had a natural proficiency with a bow, and it wasn't long before she became deadly accurate with her shots. Paired with her casting abilities, she's a dangerous opponent and land great asset to the team. She uses the environment to her advantage and targets her enemies without being seen. Isabel began tracking Void's operations at the start of the war, and was one of the main reasons the heroes were able to quickly find Void encampments. After the war, Isabel disappeared and no one has been able to track her movements, but many say that there were many shadow magic. Isabel will be there to do justice. Wait a minute, tracking Void carries a bow? Because the Broodman talked to back in Wolfstein and been Isabel. It most certainly was. My eyes widened. I briefly met one of the heroes of Rosaria. That's awesome. His ecstasy, Broodman. You know, that's a lot. I'm good. It's pretty interesting. I can see why the heroes are so respected. I don't recall what a Broodman looked like, but it might be one of the heroes. I'm willing to bet he is. I continue browsing the exhibit until I've seen all there is to see. I'm ready to call it a day. The sun is beginning to dip into the sky. I'd better go check on Amy and see if she's made any progress. After entering the library, I spot Amelia at a secluded table surrounded by mountains of books. She doesn't hear me approach. Hey, Amy.
Hello.
She doesn't look up from her textbook. Did you make any progress? Finally, she looks up at me.
Yes, I did.
Good. She gestures to the books around her.
All of these texts include data on the 100 floating isles. I have spent the afternoon gathering and analyzing all of that information.
Wait, did you say floating isles? Amy blinks.
Yes,
As in they're hovering in the air?
yes,
You don't seem surprised, Best.
of course not. The islands float due to the magical dispersion in this area. This is a natural phenomenon which has been around since the time of the ancients.
Aha. Do people live on these islands?
No, it is not logical nor conducive for habitation. Most of the islands are far too small for colonization. In those but because they have been mostly untouched, the isles are still one of the most beautiful natural wonders. No, it is not logical nor conducive for habitation. Most of the islands are far too small for colonization, and those which are large enough to hold a small population are not suited for civilization. But because they have been mostly untouched, the isles are still one of the most beautiful natural wonders of Isaria.
Okay, but if no one lives on the isles, then why are you studying
It is
them?
highly likely that the Wind Temple was built upon one of those isles. Based on my hypothesis, the temple would be built on the site of the highest concentration of energy.
Oh? Amy nods and begins to explain her scribed notes. The rest of the group slowly trickles in. Zach and Leanna arrive first, and a short while later, Kara
If my
follows.
calculations are correct, the temple should be located in this region.
She opens one of the books to a map and points to a cluster of islands. It's great, but we still have a problem. The islands are floating. How are we supposed to get up there?
Wind magic would solve that predicament.
Everyone focuses on Leanna.
That's true. While I can use wind magic to jump from isle to isle, it's impossible for me to manipulate enough energy to be able to float everyone. I could float myself and perhaps assist one other person.
Obviously, that second person would be him.
Yes, realistically speaking, Zach is correct. Zach gestures to me. Makes sense, I'm the only person who can absorb the energy.
What about the rest of us?
It seems like it sucks to be you. Don't worry, Carl, I'll bring you back some souvenirs. Carl laughs.
I appreciate that, but we should still be close by. The least we can do is keep watch.
We can set up at the edge of the first isle and wait for their return.
Karen,
That sounds good to me.
There's still some distance for us to travel to reach the Isles. We can cross that distance as a group and split up from there.
Yes, but tomorrow. It's already growing dark, so we should rest tonight.
Let's go find an inn then.
And then, once in agreement, we help Amy clean up and return to the streets. Now that the sun is set and the cold seeps through my clothes and chills my skin, a shiver crawls down my spine. Leanna blows on her hands.
The change in temperature is really apparent without the sun.
Amy glances at Leanna.
If you are cold, perhaps we should inquire whether the Flushed Mermaid has any rooms. Their rooms are more luxurious than the inns we may be used to, but there is a fireplace in each room. I do believe they provide heat stones we may request to slip in our beds, should the blankets be insufficient. Plus, their hot springs are open for guest usage.
Ooh. Kara perks up.
Did you just say hot springs?
Yes, that is,
You had me at hot springs. Let's go there.
She begins to push Amy in a random direction.
this is the incorrect way. The inn is towards the west.
Ooh, Whoops!
You idiot.
To the west!
He's just like, let's go there. Pushes. Kara hurries Amy towards the west as the result of us. Oh, wait. Blah, blah, blah. As the rest of us follow along. Our group checks into the Flushed Mermaid, and the first thing we do is make reservations for the hot springs. Fortunately, their availabilities for the men's and women's hot spring are at the same time. After we complete our reservations, we receive our keys to the rooms and go upstairs to get ready. That's one bed. Amy was right when she said the Flushed Mermaid had nice rooms. These are a lot more elegant and grand than any of the others we've stayed in. Zack and I enter the room, and eyes are drawn into a pale wooden dressers, gilded with clamshells and pearls. 2 couches sit before a flickering ivory fireplace. The mantel is streaked with silver waves with a mermaid carved at the center. Dang. Why don't we always stay in rooms like this?
They're expensive.
Okay, I know. Zack heads to his room as I find robes and towels in my closet. Once I'm ready, I meet up with Zack and we go downstairs to make our way to the men's side of the hot springs. I step down into the pool, shivering at first touch of heat. Zack settles across from me and enveloped by a vapor cloud. I sink even lower for the water to cover my chest. Pongo plops next to me with a small splash. After a moment, he drifts back up to the surface like a fishing bobber. The bongo drifts in place, his mouth still covered underwater. For a second later, he lets out a happy bubbling noise. I smile and pat him on the head. This is nice, isn't it? The bongo beams up at me. He leaps out of the pool and then makes a game of jumping in and out of the water. So, Zack doesn't even open his eyes. His arms are spread along the edge of the pool. How's life?
Fine.
Silence. Catch any scary bad guys recently? No, it's not. I frown and sink a little lower into the water, and then there's a huge scar that ripples across Zack's chest. This best not to ask about it. Cool scar, where'd you get it? Zack finally opens his eyes and stares at me. Hey, maybe I struck a nerve. Never mind. Zack turns away. And it's obviously isn't going anywhere. I might as well just enjoy the hot spring and stop trying to get him to talk. I close my eyes and try to brush off our awkward conversation. Everything is so quiet. Too quiet. I don't even hear the pongo splashing around. I open my eyes and realize he's not here. Hey, where'd the pongo go? Zack looks around and the pongo is nowhere in sight. Pongo's constantly running off. Aren't you curious about where he goes?
No.
If he's not hanging around with me, he's usually with Amy for science. Zack arches an eyebrow.
And?
We should investigate for science. I'm curious. Dude, he totally would. Oh, no, that's not what I thought you were going to do. That's not. Oh no. Dude, he totally went over to the campsite.
I don't think so.
Oh, we should double check for sure.
Nah.
Don't you want to see Kara and nothing but a towel? Zack freezes, his eyes get wide. He crosses his arms and turns away, but not before I notice a slight shade of pink in his cheeks.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ooh, I got him. The slow smirk lights my face. My bad, I thought you might be interested. I mean, it's hard to resist the thought of a girl in a hot spring, right? Bouncing around, flushed skin from the heat, wearing nothing but a towel. Or maybe no towel at all. Zack quickly clears his throat.
Well, we'd be doing it for Pongo, right?
My man! I grin. Of course.
And we're just trying to make sure the Pongo is okay. If we end up running into anything else, that isn't our intention at all.
My man! I nod. Zack uncrosses his
Then I
arms.
suppose we can check this out, but only for a second.
Sounds good. Yes, sir. We both make our way across the hot spring and eventually come across the massive wooden wall. Mist puffs up from behind and a few crystal lamps are lined overhead, but it's so dark that their golden glow can't quite penetrate it. We hear a loud splash, followed by a bunch of girlish squealing. We can't seem to make out any words. My heart rate starts to pick up. We have to make it over. I make a move for the wall, but Zack grabs my shoulder.
No, this way.
Ooh, he knows. Huh? Why?
There's a darker spot over there. Less risk of being seen if a guard comes this way.
My Jesus, my eyes. Whoa, the shadow is funny. He's pointing at him. Look at surprise. I hadn't even noticed it before. It's a good thing I have a mercenary on my side for noble causes like this. Zack inspects the wall as if analyzing the best
Boost
way
me up.
over. Can do. I cup my palms together and give him a push. He jumps up with one smooth motion and manages to grab the wall. I get the feeling that this is the first time scaling a wall. from the top. He extends a hand down and just managed to reach my jumping. He pulls me up. When I've just about scaled the wall, we hear footsteps and see the shadow of a guard.
Get in, quick!
We dive over the other side of the wall. My heart starts racing again. Did we actually make it? We both slip into the hot spring and swim over slowly as if not to make any noise or sploosh or splash. Soon we hear familiar voices.
Leanna, that feels so good.
My heart leaves me right there, and I try to peek for closer, but Zach pulls me back and points to one larger rock and motions his face. His face is bright red as he swims over, but we swim? We're in the water. Oh, but I can't tell if it's really heat or what we just heard. Leanna giggles.
Do you like that?
Yes, so much.
We settle behind the rocks and peek over to be greeted with a perfect view. It's almost as if the person who designed this hot spring knew exactly what these rocks would be used for and gave us his or her blessing. Thank you, hot spring architect. You're the real hero. The first thing I see is the Pongo splashing around it. The sneaky Pongo. I knew he ditched us for the girls.
Boy!
All right, now it's my turn to wash your back. Turn around.
Okay.
I like the sound of this. My eyes follow the voice then.
Kara!
My heart stumbles to a halt. Oh. Okay. Kara stands. I'm glad I picked this option. Fuck. Kara stands behind Leanna. Her arms are wrapped around Leanna with her hands resting on Leanna's breasts. That does not look like backwashing to me. Whoa. Kara looks surprised before a feline grin slides across her face.
I was definitely not expecting that sort of reaction from a mage knight.
Yeah.
Huh? What?
Right, Jesus. Leanna glances down and takes her a second to register what's happening, and her face goes from sunset pink to murderous scarlet.
Kara!
Kara laughs and Leanna squirms a
How
little.
could you do that?
Kara giggles and nuzzles her face between Leanna's neck and shoulder.
Are you really surprised?
Leanna twists away from her, crossing her arms to hide her chest.
Can't just...
She sputters as the words escape her. My eyes have been blessed. This is a good day.
What?
I mean, this is a good day. We should
It
leave.
is most perplexing that Leanna continues to claim disinterest in Kara's actions, even though her body language and audible responses are that of positive stimulation.
Amelia!
Leanna's face turns an even brighter shade of crimson.
That's not true!
Wait, what? Continues to deny Kara's advances. How many times have we missed out? Oh shit. Pongo bobs his eyebrows above the surface, staring in our direction. His voice is bubbly and muffled from being underwater. He blinks. Oh no, can you see us? The Pongo jumps and lands on the rock we are hiding behind. He bounces up and down with a huge smile.
Boy!
Pongo, shh! Fucking shut up!
Get your Pongo under control!
Zach, no, don't yell! Trying, damn it!
What's going on?
Just to eat him! Throw him! The Pongo leaps higher and higher into the air. It reminds me of an exciting little dog jumping, running up to greet you after a long day of work. No, Pongo, you asshole! Leanna reaches for a towel.
Is someone there?
Crap, what do we do? You just fucking me out. Okay. I jerked my head and gave it Zach. That was the most unconvincing cat sound I've ever heard. The serpent smile slides across Kara's face. She plants a hand on her hip.
Zach, is that you?
Meow?
He doesn't give up. Kara laughs out loud.
This is gold.
Dude, has it ever worked for you before in your life?
Once.
How is that even
I
possible?
realized the guy was deaf afterwards.
The Pongo bounces up and down, going crazy with
I
happiness.
hear more than one voice.
No! Lena looks horrified. She hauls herself out of the water and wraps her towel even tighter around herself. Stumbling, she lunges for a pile of fluffy towels folded off the side and starts cloaking them around herself. The Pongo leaps off the rock and straight into my arms. I let out a deep, deep exhale. The gig is up. I stand and Zack begrudgingly does the same. And Pongo leaps onto my shoulder and nuzzles against my cheek. You fucking rat. Oh man, he's so sweet. Oh, he's a rat. But maybe because I die here. Oh man, he's so sweet. How can I stay angry? Oh, maybe because I die here tonight. Amelia cocks her
It is
head.
quite surprising to find you two occupying the same hot spring as us. After all, this is the women's side, and you both are men.
My face goes hot. Oh, what? It is? We're obviously lost. Okay,
What a terrible excuse.
no, you bitch! Lena somehow successfully swaddled herself in at least 10 towels. She reminds me of a fluffy marshmallow.
You guys!
One of the towels falls off her face and she huffs. She huffs and shoves it
You
back.
guys can't just come over here!
Kara winks.
Yeah, if you wanted to hang out, you should have just said so.
Huh?
Kara grabs our arms and yanks us out of the bushes. Yep. Leanna looks mortified.
What?
Yeah, this is a bad idea. She grabs even more towels. I'm not sure which part of herself she's trying to cover at this point. Kara leads us into the water and
We don't
smiles.
mind. Right, Amy?
Amelia barely registers Kara's comment.
The activities of the rest of the team do not concern me lest it disturbs my research.
Research. Amy nods. She lifts her hand and makes some water rise, shaping it into little dolphins.
Oi?
The Pongo blinks curiously. He jumps down from my shoulder and into a small rock to investigate. She smiles and waves her hand. The tiny dolphins dive in and out of the water. The Pongo eyes sparkle with wonder.
Oi!
She looks pleased with herself, but I have no idea what the heck is she's trying to research. Kara slides in and bumps Zack with her hips, making him jump.
So, did you like what you saw earlier?
He turns away and crosses his arms, but his cheeks turn a slight
I
pink.
saw nothing.
I saw nothing. Kara's smile turns wicked.
Oh, really? What a shame. Well, now that you're here, you might as well make yourself useful. I need my back washed, please.
She.
But Leanna already
No,
did.
you idiot! You got caught!
I thought you didn't see anything.
You fool. Zack shuts up and his face becomes red. Kara's grin hands him a loofah. She swims over to the side and she can prop herself up and relax as she sets Zack to work. I swim to one of the edges with the Pongo and Amy having fun. Zack and Kara doing their own business. There's only one person left. No, you shouldn't be looking for her. She already is pretty peeved. Hey, where did Leanna go? Meep, indeed. Huh? I turn around and there's a giant pile of towels as tall as a human. This girl. Man, is that you under there?
No.
The towels shiver a bit. What I'm guessing is Leanna shifting around from underneath. Why are you buried under all those towels?
It's just very cold out here.
Cold.
Yes,
In the hot springs?
that's right.
Hey, I can believe if you want. I swear I can feel Leanna's searing flush through all the mountains of towels.
That's not. I mean,
That's a fucking win. That's good news. She takes a deep breath. The layers of towels start to drop off until there's only one left. She comes over and takes a seat on the edge of the spring, letting her legs dangle in the water, her face still flushed. And I have a feeling it's not just from the heat. You know, all things considered, I think your Wolfston armor was more revealing than this. Lena blinks at me and then laughs.
you might be right.
Although I do have a confession. She looks at me curious.
What is it?
Even with the stack of styles, I saw something just now. I didn't. Wait. Your ankles, okay. Whew. Even with the stack of towels, I saw something now that I didn't see when you were wearing that other outfit. Your ankles. Lena burst out laughing.
Oh no! How embarrassing! I feel so exposed!
Okay. We made it out of there alive. And this is where we end.